So, a quick introduction, nothing fancy. I am a mental health practitioner in NHS, and I work with children and young people. The service that I work for is an early intervention and prevention service. So that essentially means that the children that I tend to see on a day-to-day basis often come to our service if they're showing first signs of mental health disorders or difficulties. Now, what is my why as to the work that I do? And I think my interest and love for psychology and learning about kind of, how we act, how we behave, kind of what's kind of behind certain rules and certain masks that we may put on, and kind of looking between the lines sometimes when it comes to our behaviour. Merging that with my passion to support the next gen and to champion our future leaders. We all have mental health, and when we all have mental health, we see mental health in the same way as physical health. So same way where, you may need to go to the doctor because you've maybe got a chest infection, for example, or any sort of kind of like health problem. In a similar way, we should be prioritising the mental health and looking after our well-being. And because we all have mental health, it's not that we have mental health one day, we don't have mental health. We acknowledge that it's on a spectrum, and sometimes we can move in between the spectrum at different points in our lives. So at times we may be thriving, excelling, cheerful, joy, energetic, high performance. You've got good flow, but sometimes you may be struggling, and you can see some of those examples there, or even in crisis as well. Rates of mental health disorders are disproportionately higher in Black people. Black men are more likely to have experienced a psychotic disorder last year than white men. Black people are 4 times more likely to be detained under the Mental Health Act than white people. Black people are less likely to receive psychological support at an earlier stage before things get worse. So has anyone heard of the social graces? Raise your hand. So it's gender, race, religion, class, culture, education, ethnicity, sexuality, and spirituality. Are there ones that highlight a particular advantage to what we bring in our roles and the way in which we work with our clients? But are there ones that maybe put us at disadvantage or sometimes get in the way of our work? Often we just see the top of that iceberg. So these are kind of common things that people can see from just looking at us. They may assume our age, appearance, religion, ability, race, and gender. That's quite visible. But sometimes there's difference that is invisible, which is still important to us, but sometimes it's invisible, and that's under the iceberg that people don't get to see and don't consider. What are your invisible differences? I'm thinking about how does that impact or relate into the way that you work as a Black man, educator, or whatever that you do, and kind of which ones are most important to you and why. I'm thinking about also what assumptions are made based on these visible and invisible differences.
So I now teach in a school in East London. So I went to a college in East London. Kids inquire about where I have college, etc. And I say, I went down the road. They're sort of like, oh, really, sir? I guess there's a stigma with the local colleges, where they feel like if you go to those colleges, it's not the best colleges and you may be able to achieve. But when they see me now standing in front of them being a teacher, and I went to the college down the road, it sort of gives them a relatable path or path to play for themselves.
I just want to say thank you again, and I hope it's really helpful and useful. And I'm here advocating for all Black male educators. You are needed in this space, you are so valued. Keep on doing what you're doing. Buddy up, network, loving each other, supporting each other, and you really go far. So yeah, thank you.